Welcome to my channel. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer. In this video, I will be going over some of the energy for Jupiter and Taurus. So I have created a presentation for you all, and we'll also kind of just chit chat about this. I've labeled it, I changed my background. I put Jupiter, and I kind of labeled it recap and retrograde because I want to talk about the retrograde, but I also want to talk about, because I've already created a Jupiter and Taurus video, but I want to add to it. So in this video, we will be getting into all of that energy. And in a little bit, I will pull up my presentation and go through some of the things that I've put in there. But the really interesting thing about this Jupiter retrograde is that Mercury stationed retrograde over this exact spot in your chart in the sky between 15 and 5 degrees of Taurus back in the end of April, beginning of May. So there is a correlation between that Mercury energy and this Jupiter energy, where maybe something that came in, whether it was communication, an idea, something that showed up for you back the end of April, beginning of May. I also apologize because I've got fruit flies here, which I cannot get rid of, and I don't know why. So I do apologize if I am going like this. But yes, there is a correlation between that Mercury energy and the Jupiter energy that we will be moving through. So Jupiter is stationing retrograde September 4th, which I'm recording this September 3rd. I'm hoping to get it up by September 4th. So depending on when you're watching this, Jupiter stations retrograde September 4th and will be retrograde until December 30th. So this is an energy that we are moving through for the remainder of 2023. Now, when Jupiter stations on the 4th, there's going to be a trine from Mercury retrograde in Virgo to Jupiter. This can bring in beautiful supportive information, communication. You may be speaking to somebody and something may come in. This can also be insight. Now, Jupiter is the planet of expansion, abundance, luck, opportunity. So whatever information is coming in at this time can be supportive, possibly opportunistic, possibly very insightful. Now, because Jupiter is in Taurus, this can very much be an energy that we are seeing change on our world stage, right? Taurus rules money, finances. I mean, if we look back to 2018, when Uranus entered Taurus, Uranus is still in Taurus. We have definitely gone through a lot of changes with our money and financial system, as financial systems, even our housing and our food supply chain and our food, right? And that is what Taurus kind of rules, our livelihood, what we need to feel safe, secure. And so generally speaking, collectively, this is where we can see more changes to that. I'm sorry, the fruit fly really like totally lost my train of thought. But this is Taurus rules, money, finances, our livelihood, our self-love and self-worth. So even Jupiter being in Taurus can be changing your values in some way, maybe even your attitude towards money. Now, Jupiter also rules our belief system. So while Jupiter is retrograde, this can very much be an energy of kind of reflecting, reevaluating, changing your belief systems in some way, maybe becoming aware of old belief systems that are no longer in alignment with you. So that is very much an energy you can be moving through between now and the end of the year. Another ongoing energy that we have been moving through is the square between Venus and Jupiter. Now, this is both benefic planets connecting to one another. It's been an ongoing saga. Venus formed a square while she was retrograde, and there's going to be another square with Jupiter retrograde, and Venus will be direct. Now, when we have these two planets forming a square, this is especially Jupiter, because Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and being in Taurus, this is where we really want to be watching for indulgence, really kind of, for example, if you have a sugar addiction, eating too much sugar, not being able to kind of balance that out. So we do want to be mindful and make sure that we are balancing out our needs, wants, and desires, especially with that Venus square to Jupiter. Now, on October 21st and 22nd, we will have Venus and form a trine to Jupiter. So trines are very beautiful energy. This is an easy flowing energy between both I was going to say malefic, no, both benefic planets. So this is where there can be beautiful support coming in that has to do with money, that has to do with finances, that has to do with relationships, self-love, self-worth, possibly even your belief systems around those themes and topics. So around October 21st and 22nd, pay attention to what is showing up for you, pay attention to what you're feeling intuitively, but also pay attention to the conversations that you're having and also the insight that's coming in because of that Jupiter energy that can really help guide you into new direction when it has to do with your money and finances and relationships and self-love and self-worth. And then on October 28th, we are going to have Mars and Scorpio form an opposition to Jupiter retrograde. And then shortly after that opposition, we have Mercury form a conjunction to Mars. Mercury ruling communication, information. Mars can represent aggressiveness, anger, conflict. So we want to be mindful around those dates, October 21st, October 22nd, and the time around and the days before and after of conflict, communication. This is also where collectively we can hear something on the news, social media that feels very aggressive, that feels, because also too, we've got that opposition from Jupiter, which is expanding all of that energy. This can also have to do with being met with resistance or conflict based on belief systems. So we really do want to be mindful around that time, how we are communicating, but also what we are seeing. Now on December 9th, we have Venus in Scorpio form an opposition to Jupiter. So this very much has to do with what we are kind of moving through with this Venus square. And then October 21st, 22nd, we've got the Venus trine. Sorry, I'm looking down at my notes. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. And then on December 9th, we have the Venus opposition. And so this can have to do with the energy you're currently moving through, where at this time around December 9th, you're having to balance something out. This can have to do with money, finances, relationships, and your beliefs around money, finances, and relationships. Something else I would like to bring to your awareness is that the last time Jupiter was in Taurus was 2011. And of course, Jupiter retrograded in Taurus at that time. So if you think back to 2011, what was showing up for you, what you were moving through, that can give you an idea of how you will be moving through this energy. However, I do want you to keep in mind that back then we did not have Uranus in play. Now we have Uranus and Taurus, which can shift and change and disrupt some of that energy. However, think back to 2011, and that will give you an idea of the themes and topics that you were moving through that were showing up for you. And it just kind of helps to kind of with astrology and astrologers, we always do look at the past and the present to predict the future. And so when you look at past astrological events that happened in your birth chart, you're able to see how they are kind of showing up for you in the present or in the future. Now I'm going to pull up the presentation that I've created and we will go through a little bit more of this energy. Okay, so here's the presentation that I've created. Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. So Jupiter will be retrograde from September 4th to December 30th, 2023. Now, Jupiter is known as the great benefic. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, good fortune, abundance, luck, optimism, idealism, adventure, morality, philosophy, religion, beliefs, foreign cultures, higher education, and overindulgence, just to name a few. So I just wanted to put these keywords here to give you an idea of what you may be moving through with this Jupiter retrograde. Now, Jupiter, this is very important because Jupiter pre-shadow was between June 8th and September 4th. So Jupiter hit that 5 degrees of Taurus June 8th, then entered pre-shadow because Jupiter is going to retrograde from 15 to 5 degrees. So between that 5 to 15 degrees of Taurus, Jupiter is in pre-shadow. So if we think back to what we were moving through between that time period, it can also give us an idea of something that may be reoccurring or something that we may be shifting and changing in some way, something we may have to revisit during the Jupiter retrograde. And then Jupiter post shadow, which is when Jupiter will station direct at that 5 degrees of Taurus, December 30th, and move to the 15 degrees of Taurus, March 20th. So between December 30th and March 20th, Jupiter will be in post shadow period, which is when you will revisit all of those themes and topics again for whatever that you're moving through. But this time is when there's conclusions. It's when there's an understanding, a knowing, clarity of direction. It's more of developing and kind of knowing the direction you want to move in with whatever the themes and topics are that you're kind of addressing during this time. So I threw a couple Taurus keywords in here just for fun. So some keywords for Taurus, so you get an idea of how Jupiter is expressing the energy. And so Taurus, some keywords for Taurus is practical, persistent, stubborn, indulgent, loyal, comforting, materialistic, elegant, sensual, possessive, grounded, dependable, patient, and lazy. So one thing we do want to watch with Jupiter and Taurus is overindulgence. That can be an energy that can be quite difficult. So we do want to be careful of that. And overindulgence, meaning, overindulgence eating sugar. So if you have sugar addictions, anything along those lines, but also spending money. This is, because Taurus represents money and finances. So we want to be careful of our money spending at this time as well. So Jupiter is going to be in Taurus between May 16th, 2023 and May 25th, 2024. And so Jupiter, this is where there's changes, opportunities, and expansion in this area of your life. So if you know where you have Taurus in your birth chart, then you can know and understand the themes and topics. Jupiter is expanding for you and bringing in opportunity and abundance. Now, I've kind of just stated here some things we can see with the Jupiter and Taurus transit. So changes and opportunities and expansion to our money and finances, financial systems, and banking. And then also food supply, food resources, and supply chain. So farming meat and cows. And I put that because there has been a lot of changes with farming meat and cows, which we've seen, especially over the last few years. But like I said, these areas of life have also been going through changes since 2018 because we've had Uranus and Taurus. Jupiter is now coming in, expanding all of that. So whatever Uranus has shaken up for us, now Jupiter's coming in and kind of blowing that up. So yeah. And then there's also going to be changes to belief systems, religions, and values, people's individual values, and then just values as a collective and how we've viewed certain things. And then also changes to comfort, stability, and security. So what we used to find comfortable is maybe going to change. And then our stability, which we're seeing with inflation, our security and stability has really become a little bit difficult because people are having a harder time buying groceries with the prices of all the prices, right? Gas prices, food prices, housing prices in general. That shakes up our comfort, stability, and security because we have added struggle to our plate. And then I added, don't forget about Uranus, the great awakener. Because yes, of course, we have Uranus at play, where in 2011, when we had Jupiter and Taurus, it's a different energy, right? The last time we had Jupiter and Taurus 12 years ago, it's going to feel different because now we have Uranus and Taurus. So there's this Uranian energy. Now, Uranus, some keywords for Uranus is liberation, disruptive change, chaos, explosive, rebellious, radical, innovative, scientific, astrology, and flashes of insight. And then I threw this in because when I was doing my research, August 30th, 2023, there was a man pulled over for having a full-size I know I'm going to say this wrong, a Watassi bull riding shotgun. So he actually took the windshield off and part of the roof so that this oversized bull could ride in the car with him. I thought this was a perfect representation of Jupiter in Taurus with Uranus. I mean, if there is no other clear representation of this energy, I mean, Taurus being the bull, Jupiter being like the expansion of, and then Uranus bringing the weirdness in and the craziness. I'm like, oh, this is totally a representation. So I wanted to throw this in. So I hope that this helps you kind of get an idea of this Jupiter and Taurus energy. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. I may even record another video between now and the end of Jupiter retrograde, depending on if I feel like I have to add any more information. But I wanted to create that presentation and just come on here and give you guys talk about the energy, give you guys a heads up. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining me. And if you align with my energy and enjoy my content, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and hit the post notification bell so that you can get notified every time I upload a new video. So I will connect with you all in the next one.